Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsyreplays and welcome back to some more replays. Considering we had a missile video this morning, all about the missiles, we've decided to do missile only replays for today. And we have 4 battles. All 4 are truly amazing. Goes to show just how OP this tank can actually be. So we've got 2 of the 2 T95E1s, or whatever they're called, and we've got 2 Sheridans. So first up we have the T92, and we have Shaggy from the Purple Clan, and he's on dead rail. So first shot here, I mean, that's going to hit. That's going to hit, and he's off the mark with his damage. Now, he's flanked all the way around. He's got pretty lucky because the enemy medium and light tanks, they've decided to not flank around this way. So he's pretty much got side shots on a lot of them, especially the T54 there, and M103, and a few others. So he has his team with him. His teammate, his platoon mate, is pretty much dying. He's a one-shot very early on. However, he's gonna just sit back a bit, and he is actually going to stay alive for the entirety of the game, of the battle. So he does a missile there. He didn't want to risk shooting it with APCR and bouncing or hitting the track. Just as he shot, the T54 did go out of sight, but he does still manage to penetrate. So he was spotted, so now he's just going to sit back, reset his camo, and then come in again and try and get some more shots off. So he's on 1100 damage. He's probably actually on about 1600 damage with that blind shot on the T54, and now probably sitting behind a CDC who's just been spotted isn't the best idea, so he is going to start poking forward a little bit, and he is going to use the rocket just to guarantee that, well, not guarantee, but he didn't want to bounce on that T54. So the T54 now is a one-shot. His team are down on tanks. Now, 1 tank down, but there is a couple of tanks that has low hit points like this T54. He now spots the only TD in on the enemy team, which is the AMX AC-48. So now he hasn't really got to worry about anything to the left of, which is probably the best map for TDs. But he now knows where that TD is, so he's just going to poke forward a little bit more. That TD got absolutely wrecked, and he is now going to poke out. He's not looking, so he can clear him for his first kill, bringing it down to a 5 versus 5. That is going to change. That is going to change. He is now spotted, so he just has to wait a little bit. There goes the ST1. He's not poking out just yet until he reloads, which is the right thing to do. And his team are dying. The M103 dies to bring it down to a 3-on-4. And again, he's going to use that gay, says the M103, just because he died. So nice use of the missile there, and the way he just used that missile where he constantly looks, that's how I think the missiles should be in the game. You shouldn't be able to hide behind a rock or anything like that. That is how, for me, that is how the missile should be. That is what Wargaming need to do, is do exactly that. So I love what he does here. He's going to ignore the Indian Panzer, and he's going to go for the T52E1, which is absolutely perfect. And I think I know why he done that, because the guy was almost full hit points, and if he can take a shot from that T92E1, sorry, him and both his platoon mate could both get a shot off, and they would kill him. Because if he shoots this guy and his two mates shoots the T92, then the T92 would still be able to take care of his platoon mate. So that was that was fantastic play. That was a correct decision, and he didn't really lose any hit points in doing that. I mean, he got the ram damage taken from him, but that was just a fantastic decision, and quite possibly a match-winning decision. So his platoon mate is now going to go back. He's not going to risk taking a shot. It is now 2 versus 2, but there's still a motion to take care of, and this other T92E1. So he's now going to poke forward. He's now going to poke forward, and he is going to switch to the missile, and he's just going to get there, the bottom plate again, bringing that guy down to a 1-shot, and his platoon mate is just going to smash him in the face with HE to now bring it to a 2-on-1 with this guy running away. So he can now chase him. He can actually take a shot quite comfortably, maybe even 2 shots if the T92E1 low rolls. So he's now just going to chase him. He's going to switch to the HE, 606 damage. He's now only on 35 hit points, and now, as I've said, he can take a shot, so he's just going in, but he does need to be careful, because if he actually misses, then he could die. But of course, he's not going to shoot. He's going to go for, yet again, another ram. So 3 kills, 7,171 damage, 1,600 base XP. His platoon mate didn't do so much, but he really couldn't, because he lost so many hit points really early on. So at least he stayed alive, and him staying alive ultimately probably won him the game. Next up, we have Rain Gold, and he's from the RU server, and he's probably one of the only people from the RU server who sends me replays, and he's a fantastic player. I've shown a few replays from him before in a grill. He is a fantastic player, and again, he is in the T92E1. Now look at that shot. Don't need no accuracy on this gun. That was a nice shot against that T92E1 on the enemy team. He's going to play really aggressive. He's going to play very aggressive, and he's going to use some missiles. He's going to use he's going to do it all. He's going to use the missiles only when he really needs to, but other than that, mainly it will be APCR. So he's pushing right the way forward, which is a very risky move, because at the moment there's only 3 tanks spotted. We know that there is 1 tank at the bottom, and now the E50 on his team has been taken out, so he's only got a little bit of cover. He misses that missile shot against the T92, so now he's just going to use this rock as cover while he goes for the full reload. But when I started watching this, like any moment now, I thought, dude, what are you doing? But he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's going to start talking in Russian in a minute. And I've done a video before when in the grill, decision making, and he was actually in my decision making video, and he's actually going to tell the team to attack, because he knows that there's only a couple of tanks up here. So he's gone full deep, and he's gone for the T92E1 while the Foch on the enemy team also dies. So that was a fantastic well-timed push there from him and his team. So now he can go down and he can focus on the other T92E1. As soon as he's going to switch to the HE, and he's going to do 646 damage. The HE is pretty low on this thing. You never really high roll too often. So I don't think it's not worth that much risking the HE shot, unless you know that you can really penetrate, because there's not much difference between the HE and the heat and the APCR, to be honest. So he's going to have a nice shot there. Again, he does bounce, but these kind of shots I don't think should happen in Blitz. You shouldn't be able to hide behind hills and rocks and be in no danger whatsoever whilst you're doing damage to the enemy team. So I'm not going to really talk about that. I spoke about that at great length this morning, so we're just going to talk about the game. So far he's on 2,700 damage, and it is 3 versus 4. So there's a lot of hit points, and there's a lot of tanks to get rid of. So he's going to go and focus the Death Star, because he's the most dangerous tank out of the 4 left alive, and he's going to ignore the VK. So the Object 704 is a one-shot, and as you can see, he's running away from the VK. He doesn't really want to know the VK. He knows the VK isn't the greatest player, and again, he's going to go for a missile shot, so he's not exposed from that Death Star, because you really don't want to be shot from a Death Star. And I think he actually hit the wrong tank, which is unfortunate, but at least it still does damage to a tank. Not the right tank, but he still does damage. And again, what he's doing here, he is ignoring the VK, completely ignoring the VK. Just look at the VK driving up rocks and shit. He knows that he is not a dangerous player, which is why he's saying on the screen there, attack the Death Star. So him and the IS-4 attack the Death Star together, and it just now leaves 2 versus 3. Now he's going to take that shot on the VK because he's reloaded. You might as well, while you're running away, get the shot off. But again, he's now going to ignore him, and he's going to go for the E100, who is dealing who's taking damage on the IS-4, who's not actually looking. So there goes the IS-4, which now leaves him alone against 3 tanks. So he gets that shot off on the E100, and again, he is on the move. Taking out the... He really needs to take out the Object 704, because again, that's a dangerous target. He's a big gun, and also the IS-8. So what he's going to do now is just going to come at distance. He's going to reset his camo, and he's just going to wait. And there's the IS-4. He's going to switch to the missile. He's going to shoot. He is spotted, but he still has that ridge line, and he does get the shot off on the E100. So he's still got plenty of hit points, and I say plenty of hit points, but if he gets shot from the E100 and the Object 704, then he could potentially be dead. It's only going to take really 1 shot from each of those tanks to clear him. So he's being careful. He's resetting his camo, and he is going to focus the right tanks and the right targets. So the first one he's going to spot is the Object 704. Not sure what's actually happening to the E100 at the minute. I don't know if it was his connection. He's not gone AFK. He does come back. But that's great for him because it gives him time to reload, get closer, and just as he gets closer, this is where the E100 actually comes back into reality, and he starts pushing. And at least we now know that the VK, where the VK is. I mean, 2 minutes left on the clock, and he decides to, instead of helping his two teammates, he decides to go cap. Like, good decision, VK, very good decision. Rain Gold is on 6,700 damage, and the VK is on 400 HP. So if he clears him, it will push him over the 7,000 damage. He's on 3 kills, so he's done a remarkable job at the minute. And at this point, we know what's going to happen. We know he's going to win. There is no way in hell that this VK can pull off a win. He could take probably 3 shots from this VK as well. So it's not really... that was an easy win for him. That was a very easy win. 7,244 damage, 1,844 base XP. Very, very well done, Rangold, and thank you for sending me that replay in. Next up, we're back. We are on the Sheridan, and we have his Royal Fatness, one of the best players in the entire game, and one of a really good friend of mine. We talk regularly. He's a great guy, great player, and I love the way he plays. I platooned with him a few times, and to be honest, I hate platooning with him because it makes me look even shitter than I already am, because he just steals all the damage, because he's just amazing to watch. And this game is just incredible. It goes right down to the wire, and he still manages to pull something off. So he's using the missiles now, even though it is a T-49, which is tier 8 in a tier 10 game. He's not in any danger. He's hiding behind this hill. So that was a good use of the missiles. The first missile on the T-49 unfortunately did only track him, which is the problem with the missiles, which is probably the only problem with the missiles. It's that it's heat. But he's going to use them really wisely. Another shot there with the missile, and again, he doesn't take any shots in return. He wasn't really in any danger taking that missile shot. So 1,100 damage almost. There is quite a few tanks around this area, but when you're on a reload, there's really not much you can do in a Sheridan when you're in a big reload. He goes for the HE there against the T-49, but unfortunately only low rolls that guy. But now the T-49 is running away, and in fact, he knows that he can't really do anything, the T-49 being in a tier 8, so he's actually going to go and cap, which actually puts pressure on his Royal Fatness's team. So there we go, the cap's going up. They are at the moment drawing 5 tanks on 5, but we know 1 tank is now gone, so it's 4 against 5, but one of his teammate right next to him there is very low hit points, and there's quite a few tanks still around this area, so they need to be quick. There's 4 tanks around this area, and then there's 1 tank capping, so they have to pay attention to the cap, because the T-49 probably at this point doesn't need to cap because it's a 3-on-5. There's no way that he should win this. He goes for the blind shot, and again, well, not again, but he hits the ground in front, which can happen. I do it an awful lot. So the remaining teammates on the enemy team are now starting to push it. So 2-on-5. There goes the Object 704 to bring it down to a 2-on-4, and now he's going to push, and he actually gets in the way. The WZ-121 I don't think actually went to shoot for him. He was going for his teammate, but as it happens, the angle that he come in, he manages to take the shot, and he gets the bounce. So there goes the 121, and it now leaves just him versus 3. Now what is that? What is the T-49 doing, dude? Like, you was on 80. You was on 80, and then you decide to come off. Like, they could have done with your help a lot sooner, and he's going to pay the price because he's going to bounce his shot and he's going to die in return. Bullshit. No, not bullshit. You are silly. You are silly. Silly boy. So it's now just him versus a Death Star, which is full hit point, and an E100. Gets away with that. He does miss, but the Death Star also misses his shot, and he does take a nasty shot from the E100, who is pretty much 3/4 full. He's 3/4 of his hit points left. So there's a lot of hit points to get through, and he's not got enough hit points to stand there and fight. So he's going to start trading shots from distance. He's going to try and reset his camo. That is the best thing about the Sheridan. You can play from distance because it's a light tank. You can spot those enemy tanks, and before they can spot you, you can shoot the missile if you can't penetrate them, and from distance and without even exposing yourself. So even though he's low hit points, the game is not over, and he knows that. Look, win only. We're only going for the win here. We're not going for no draw. We are going for the win. Doesn't matter if I'm only on 348 hit points. I am going to win this game. There's only 2.5 minutes left on the clock though. That's and the clock is going down, and they have started capping. So that puts a little bit of pressure on Fatness. Two tanks are both in, and this is what I mean. You can poke up in a light tank, no problem. No one's looking, and he's going to get the shot off. And by the time he's spotted, and by the time they look, he is back over this hill. And this is what I mean. I mean, look here. If these tanks were to stay spotted, he can take this shot off, no problem whatsoever. And he's not going to get shot in return. There's no way that these guys can shoot him in return, but unfortunately can't quite spot him in the position he's at, so he now has to relocate, which again, he's not spotted. So look, they're looking at the same place he was a minute ago, which allows him to get that shot off. 5,600 damage now, and the Death Star's a one shot, so we really need to take care of him. It doesn't really matter what tank really, because both of them can one shot him anyway. And the E100 is going to be spotted. Is he going to try the missile? I don't think he is. He didn't really want to waste that missile if he didn't have to shoot it, because he would have been spotted and it would have been a waste of shot. So again, he's going to look up, and now he has a better opportunity to get the E100. He does get spotted, but he does manage to get that pen into the E100, pushing his damage now up to 6,100 damage. Now, there's only 1 minute left on the clock, so both tanks are now on the enemy team are going to decide, you know what, we now haven't got time to cap, which they probably have if they both sat in the cap, but not both tanks are going to sit in the cap. And the Death Star actually goes round by the red spawn. He can now see if he can get this shot on the E100. He needs to be quick because there's 50 seconds left, 45 seconds left on the clock. He's going to go for that shot. He has to. He backs up. What a nice shot. What a nice shot. But now that still leaves two tanks alive with 30 seconds left on the clock. Both are at least a one shot. The Death Star is really low hit points, but he has to do something. He knows that the E100 is still on cap. There's the Death Star. He is spotted. He's very low hit points. He's a light tank. He's not spotted, so he is able to get that shot off before he's spotted. Now just the E100 to go. 14, 13, 12. He's still got 5 seconds left on his reload. Surely this is not possible. Like, in this situation, the position he's in, 3, 2, 1. Wow. Absolute madness. Crazy game. Amazing. 7,100, and he gets the kill literally on 0. Thank you, Royal, for sending me that in. Absolutely amazing game. I just can't believe 0 seconds on a missile and he gets the kill. Just crazy. Last up we have 973k, 973,000 or 973k. Again, he's in the Sheridan and he's on the best map. Now, this is probably the best map for a missile tank, but he's not actually going to play it how I think how I thought he should play it. Now, using the Sheridan and the T92 on this map, definitely go in the middle. It gives you the advantage because you can use the missiles over the ridge, and it is actually quite easy to hit the enemy tanks. But he decided to come around this area and try and get some shots off on the spotted tanks that are crossing, and he manages to get that shot on the Chieftain. So he is spotted, so he's going to back up. Now, none of his team have actually gone the middle, and normally when that happens, it's like an automatic loss. So he does get another shot there on the Chieftain. I do kind of feel sorry for the Chieftain because every time he gets shot, he's going to put a little comment in on the chat. There we go, little sad face there, which is the second time he's been shot. So 973 is he's going to aim. He was going to go for the T92 there, but again, the Chieftain is spotted, and again, he dies, And there's the little comment, okay. And he even found that a little bit funny, just because every time he got shot he was commenting on something with a sad face, etc. So 1 tank down each now. Now the Foch 155 is all on his own, so he is going to push. He does have a 121B with him on his team that is coming up, so it is now going to be 2 tanks against 1. So he's not going to go around the corner, he's going to wait for the Foch to come around, and he does get a nice 700 high roll with the 121B also getting a shot off. He does take a shot, but with the 121B there, now he is going to run around the corner just before the Foch reloads his shell, and now the 121B is going to take his attention. Unfortunately, he does low roll there, and he leaves the Foch on just 25 hit points. 25 hit points, which is unfortunate, because now this 121B starts not penning his shots, which is really unfortunate, because there is now a waffle around this area. The 121B is very low hit points, and he's very unlucky because he also gets set on fire. So now it's 4 against 5. There's still a lot of hit points, and again, I love what he does here. He is ignoring the waffle. The waffle's full hit points, and he's a very juicy target, and most players would dream of, with a 152mm gun, they would dream of going to a waffle to farm some damage. But he's not looking at farming damage. I mean, he does farm damage, don't get me wrong, but he's not looking at farming damage. He wants to win. It's 4 against 4. What's the likelihood that you're going to win if you're on your own with a waffle, or if you're helping your team? And that is exactly why he went back. And again, he's ignoring that Sheridan. He does get a shot on the Sheridan. He went to ignore the Sheridan to go and help his team. But while the Sheridan is in the open, he is able to get that shot off. And again, he is now going to make his way. He's going to leave the Sheridan alive for now, and he's going to start helping his team, which is exactly what he does. He does get a nice bounce there from the K91, and he's now going to go around. He sets him on fire, so he's still burning, nearly 900 damage. So that was a good decision in ignoring the 2 tanks to go for the tanks that are actually shooting his teammates. And now he can come back and go for the Sheridan that he left earlier. So 5,600 damage, and they've now bring it down to a 3-on-2. The IS-7 is doing his job up there. He is getting shot from the T92, but he's also doing damage in return. So 973k is now going to rush in without any problems with the T92 looking at him, because he's going to try and clear the IS-7, which he misses his shot, but that waffle from earlier does manage to take him out. So we know now the waffle is on a reload. We know that the T92 was on a reload, so he can come down and clear him for his 6th kill. 6,600 damage, and now all that's left is a full hit point waffle. But he's a good player. The waffle's a good player. He's done a really good job. He does manage to get a nice HE there. Now he is going to play it very risky. He's still going to take him 2 shots, 2 HE shots, 2 high roll APCR shots to clear this guy, and he knew that, so he wanted to get the shot off first. He does take a shot in return, but he does get a nice 700 roll into that waffle. But now we're in a situation where both of these tanks are a 1-shot. The T95 on his team is a long way away, and he's playing it very risky there, very risky, and he was lucky this waffle low rolled, just leaving him on 75 hit points. Now he's still trying to fight, he's still finding, I like that, he still found it really hard to catch up with the waffle running round a hill in a light tank. But he got the win. Very good battle. 8,300 damage, 7 kills, top gun, high caliber, and 1,855 base XP. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the replays of these missiles. I'm Meadsy69, and I will see you all soon. Bye bye. With